Hey, it just gets worse, doesn't it? I just keep getting later and later. I need time. I need more time to discuss or figure out what to discuss for today. Specifically today, well, by the way, welcome back everyone. Not a lot of crazy news to talk about. There is some stuff going on, but literally I feel like it's irrelevant. Mainly a bunch of government stuff in between, what's happening with Trump, with the SNAP benefits, the no kings, the filibuster, all this random stuff that I don't even know what it is. It's all political mumbo jumbo, in my opinion. But, well, we are here to talk about the crypto market. We have a lot of recoveries for a lot of altcoins, which we will be discussing. I've made a couple of moves, and we'll be taking a look at where we expect things to head next, because that's obviously what is most important here. So, that being said, yep, welcome everyone. Bitcoin's price is 102,590 as we speak. It hasn't recovered too much. It's 1% up, but a lot of altcoins are up double digits numbers, and we'll be going over those ones. If you want a specific list, I guess we could check literally the RSI on some of the altcoins, the more important ones. I'm just going to say off the bat, Zcash is one of them, Filecoin. Litecoin was on the rise significantly, ICP, Near Protocol. Sonic, I got out of Sonic, by the way. And then all these other irrelevant ones, Polkadot, Ordi, Injective, Tezos. Where's Zcash? I know Zcash was on the rise significantly. It's been on the rise. It's over here. Zcash, yeah, privacy coins definitely seem to be on the rise significantly. They were showing all this. This has been going around crypto Twitter. I'm not going to show it today because whatever. I don't care about what people think about me, but I don't really like the video that they showed. I think it's the founder or the co-founder, this old guy that's dressed up as a woman. I don't know what you want to think about that. I'm not alone in thinking this, by the way. The comment section is plenty full of criticism of a video that came out from last year. It's an old video, but it's the guy just explaining what Zcash means for privacy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I didn't really look too much into the video, and people are pulling that up and being like, what is this? But other people are like, no, like he's talking facts, or she, I don't even know. But yeah, so there's that for Zcash. It's kind of slowed down its movement. I think we do have it here. Talk about privacy coin on a centralized exchange, am I right? It did hit a recent all-time high at 761. Yeah, whatever. This is not copium. I'm not, it's not that I'm upset I didn't get into it on time. It seems like it's very recently that it got listed October 10. So, on this exchange at least. But in general, like Zcash has been significantly on the rise. It's risen to the 14th spot in the crypto market cap. Why is this? You see the font thing? Am I crazy? Let me go to like a monthly return, a yearly return. It's pretty significant, right? The whole year we've been averaging around 70, 50, $30, 30, 40, 50. And then suddenly, when did this start? End of September, beginning of October. Zcash was significantly on the rise, reaching 100, 200, 300, 400. We're at 585 right now. Very recently hitting all-time highs. So it just decided to explode out of nowhere today. So congrats for that. Litecoin was on the rise significantly today. Let me go to a weekly chart to kind of figure out where we were. We were averaging around below 90, right? 88, 87. And then suddenly we just teleported to 104. Like we belonged there on Litecoin. I used to have some position on Litecoin, but not much anymore. I think I might have gotten liquidated or something. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of these do look like dead cat bounces. We saw early signs of this yesterday when I took profit on Aptos, and I do want to check what even happened with Aptos. I think it just continued rising. Yeah, I did. Okay. Not by too much. Like, we did see this slowdown at this zone where I had marked over here. I'm like, the fact that we're over here, there's so much resistance, I don't think we're going to continue much higher. And I was partially right. This morning I saw it was retracing to 283. I'm like, ha, I sold the top almost. And I don't know, I felt like a genius. But now we've just continued surging and we're at 315 for Aptos. I sold at... Well, okay. Well, this is not going to work, of course. Where did I sell? $3.03. And we hit a high today of 327. So I missed about 24 cents of potential more gain. 24 cents times whatever the position I had over here. 2010 Aptos tokens, right? You do the math. It wouldn't have been too different. It was fine. We were close to overbought, and I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to be breaking out of this downtrend. And I do have a lot of positions open already. Well, not that, but this. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to, you know, diversify too hard right now. I still stand by, of course, what I said, and I do think this month is going to be really good, and potentially of seeing Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high in this month. I'm still, technically speaking, I do believe in that still. But as the days go on, we're November 7 already. 1 week has gone by, and we've been down, but we're kind of on the way back up, especially when it comes to altcoins. Some of them have recovered quite significantly. So yeah. Not too sure whether or not we're going to be able to keep up that momentum. We're heading into a weekend. Saturday, we're expecting low volatility. And I'm still seeing, of course, fundamentals being super strong if you ignore the macroeconomic factors, if you ignore the fact that people are scared to price in another rate cut, if you ignore the fact that there's the shutdown, the government shutdown going on, ignoring the fact that a new war might start up somewhere, whether that's Nigeria, Venezuela, or, I don't know, maybe Israel, Iran kicks off again. Russia, Ukraine is still going on. There's those fears, and also the fear of tariffs. Not that they will be imposed, but rather that they will be ruled as illegal by the Supreme Court, and we're going to have to pay back all the tariffs that we have collected, and we're talking trillions of dollars here, which is not going to help the US economy by any means. So what we need to ensure the future stays bright is a confirmation of that rate cut with economic data that will back it. To get the economic data, we will need the shutdown to end. To get the shutdown to end, we need those Democrats to pass the vote. The Democrats are asking for a lot of stuff. I have new details on what specifically they're looking for and why, you know, Democrats are opposing that. And it seems like it's an exaggeration as to what they're requesting. So obviously they're going to keep on, you know, delaying it or trying to pass other votes, trying to renegotiate until they can meet something and then, you know, pass the vote. We need that shutdown to end. It would also help with ETFs getting approved for a lot of altcoins, much delayed altcoin ETFs. And also the Supreme Court, we need them to say, you know what, Trump, you're good. Tariffs are legal and you're free to charge any country as much as you'd like. And we don't have to pay any of it back, which would be great. There's mixed feelings on tariffs. People think it's going to cause inflationary aspect because everything's prices are going to rise if we're importing that. I'm looking at it the optimistic way that it's going to bring other companies into the United States. We're already seeing that. We're already seeing billions of dollars being invested in the United States. We're going to be creating a lot of stuff in the United States to make it cheaper and obviously create more jobs that way. I'm seeing tariffs as a positive thing for the long term, of course. Short term, it sucks because it's until we get those deals arranged, yeah, prices could rise, and that's what the markets do fear. And we see how it impacts Wall Street, right? The stock market, April 7 crash was huge, and the crypto market does feel that as well, especially now that we have a lot of Wall Street invested in the crypto market. We're seeing all of that impact take effect over here as well, especially if, things get announced on a day that the stock market is not open. Cough, cough, October 10. I know it was open on that day, but Trump literally announced a 100% tariff on China by November 1st if there was no trade deal met for the rare earths thing, which by now it's all been resolved. That is out of the question, and we have still not recovery pumped. Everything crashed 80% because he announced it after the markets have closed. Strategically announced, of course, and somebody had that insider info and took profits from it. We know about that hyperliquid whale, which oddly enough, they bet positions toward the long side, which right now are sitting at an unrealized loss because we continued dropping afterwards. I did cover that news when that hyperliquid whale got back into the markets after making a killing off shorting them. So he's back, going long. But the liquidation prices are far. I checked them. His liquidation price on Bitcoin was like 50,000, and on Ethereum it was really low. I think it was 900 or something like that. It's because he added margin to his positions, right? So, yep, he's still holding on. You might know something. That's what a lot of people are expecting, of course, after you coincidentally short the markets right before Trump announces the the 100% tariff. He just puts out a post on Truth Social, everything crashes, altcoins crash like never before. So, yeah, there's my little monologue. Hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so Aptos. We've broken the downtrend. Super trend is now in the green. That is good. It's on the rise, 242 as of right now, and will continue rising until, we see things flatten out a little bit. I'm expecting by, obviously, tomorrow, we're not going to see a lot of volatility. That should, stabilize wherever the super trend is meant to be. We will use that new level as a support. And, of course, you could expect a bit of a retracement. Not too big, of course, and have the price continue up. It's just so that we can draw the uptrend line, and so that, I don't know, super trend will eventually follow it, something like that. That's a terrible drawing, but that's kind of what I'm expecting over here. So, yeah, now that we are on Aptos, I will discuss here. Resistance is around 330 as of right now, but I would wait for the new pivot levels generated on Sunday. So that's yet to be seen. And support currently at, psychologically speaking, $3. Also, you could really look at, sometimes price likes to do this where it bounces back to the downtrend line and then it takes off once again after getting enough momentum support to continue forward. And that is so that, like I said, we could draw that uptrend line. So I will stand by that. We'll see what happens. I'm out of Aptos for now. If we do see another oversold opportunity, I will probably be re-entering because I do still genuinely like the project. So, that's the way you're supposed to do it. So I'm not too upset about what I've done. It's fine. Negative funding rate too, by the way. Still, even after the fact that we have risen, what is this percentage? Like 13? 22%? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sonic was on the rise today, as I mentioned. SUSDT. Here you are. 30% up. Oh boy. Yeah, I sold too early. I was not really confident that Sonic was going to continue to rise. I was very bullish on the project, and then it just liquidated me and kept on dropping, and I would keep buying these dips. As you could see, I bought an appropriate dip over here that kept on dipping, and at these low prices, it was giving me entries, but I genuinely ran out of money. I was like, I don't even have enough to put in here, and it's very close to my liquidation price, which was at, I think it was like at 9 cents. So I'm like, I'm just going to let it do whatever. And then we started pumping. I saw this in the morning and it was at my entry price, very close to my entry price, a little higher, right? And I was like, I might just close out the position here, or I think I don't remember if I put a stop loss or something. Long. I think I just closed out of the position. First of all, we were overbought right over here. Where did I sell? At 14.81. My entry was 14.67, so I made $9. I know, big deal. But there was no real reason as to why it was just rising. It's obviously whale accumulation. They're just buying up everything that is cheap right now, and they selected a few altcoins. I think we could check, like, yeah, just top gainers. They selected Filecoin, Fetch, Artificial Superintelligence, Near Protocol, Injective, Celestia, Polkadot, Starknet. Those are the top gainers today. Render, Graph, Virtual, WorldCoin, Optimism, Litecoin, Pyth. Oh, Pyth. 10 cents. That is brutal. Even with a 14% pump, we're still at 10 cents. Crazy. Stacks, Uniswap, Tezos, I covered, Cosmos. Yeah, things like that, right? Having great days. It kept on rising. It's at 1667 right now. Obviously, I'm not going to be re-entering at these prices, but now that the trend has flipped positive, I would be more inclined to re-entering if we do see any oversold positions, which, if that does happen, we're going to have to expect 4 cents to drop here to around 12 cents from where we are currently in the price before we start seeing any potential of oversold opportunities that we could enter, because we will now be entering in favor of the trend, right? And that's how you should be trading. I'm just doing the opposite because I'm trying to get the best price, right? Don't do what I do. I don't know what I'm doing. Great. Moving on. What do I have here? Solana? What happened to Solana? I have a trigger order at 146. I put this one after the fact, and we dropped to recent low 149.71, so it didn't hit my 146 entry, and we started rising. We're at 162.41 right now, right at this support level. Now become resistance. So we're stuck here. We're still technically in a downtrend. Solana's up 3, almost 4% today. But we're still struggling, of course, to continue higher. We didn't go as high compared to the rest. Unfortunate. But Solana is doing good overall. I still like the project a lot. Meme coins, I'm sure, will make a huge comeback. Solana can slightly benefit from it, but I've talked about how it's going to become more institutionally driven now. Now that the fact that we have big partnerships with big companies and also ETFs that have been approved. Bitwise, Grayscale, those are doing good with their inflows. So I think it's overall a positive for Solana. Still, even at these prices, I was thinking like it's still pretty cheap to get into Solana at 162, but I want the best price, so I put the 146 order and hope that it hit. It did not. It's going to continue to do its thing, I suppose. Let's talk about Ethereum, 3,452. Yeah, I didn't really have any plans on buying any extra dips over here. I'll just wait for it to continue on the rise. We didn't have a big movement up today either for Ethereum. It's up 3%, which is fine, but we're still technically in a downtrend, which invalidates at 3,750 approximately, so that's going to be our closest resistance before we can see this downtrend flip green on the super trend, and we should be good that way. By then I will be in the green as well on my position, so I'll leave that there. BitTensor, not a lot of movement. Seems like we are indeed stuck in this range. Slightly poking below and above it, but overall at 388. My entry was at 402. We weren't really oversold. Almost, though. It was 31 RSI when I bought, which is close enough. I liquidate at 270, which is a safe level in my opinion. Even on the worst day, ignoring the scam wick, we dropped to 275, not to 270. Right? What is this number? 274. Yeah, good enough. So I'm fine with the position here. And if we do continue dipping on BitTensor, I will absolutely be re-entering. It was, it had a very strong uptrend for the duration of the time where the market was on its way down. BitTensor was doing the opposite, which was great to see, but I wasn't in it at that time. I missed my chance. I did have a chance of entering. No, not really. There was no real oversold level at these prices. So yeah, that's why I didn't really enter BitTensor. But just recently, we do have this new downtrend drawn over here that invalidates at 470 approximately. That's going to be your major resistance on BitTensor for now. I would expect it to drop even as we like lateralize a while longer over here due to low volatility on Saturday, just so the super trend will catch up to whatever line, downtrend line that we have drawn over here. I don't know exactly what that level will be yet. We're gonna have to wait and see. Yep, so still like BitTensor. Got a lot of stuff, good stuff going on for it. I expect it to rise much more. Hyperliquid 10% up today. Deserved. Better than Aster, am I right? What is Aster up? Aster's probably up way more. No, it's not. 6.74%. $1.08. Okay. I still think Hyperliquid is the better DEX overall. I'm once again making a high return. But I don't think I will sell yet. Our resistance is technically at 45 around that area. I'm going to ignore the pivot levels for now because those will be invalidated soon. We're going to have to wait and see what the next levels are looking like. We are still technically in a downtrend, so even though it looks like we broke this line, you would have to really pay attention to the super trend line because that's when we truly have a change of structure, change of character, whatever it is. So yeah, I'm keeping the downtrend line drawn, even if it's uncomfortably close to where we are currently in the price. But I do expect it, you know, to continue rising to maybe 45. We still have room to run on the RSI. We haven't really hit an overbought level yet, despite the 10% rise. So still faithful to its movement here. I think it will perform well. SUI also had a good rise today, 7% up. I should have bought below $2. I don't think I have. No, I have not. I had an order around over here, but I removed it. I was just saying, you know, I'm going to be closely monitoring SUI. If we do see a good entry, I will enter, but I didn't see a better dip than this one. So, well, SUI's already on the rise. Looks like I missed the train. My average entry is 229, which, like I said, the downtrend line, it's looking like we're about to break it, but I would just generally extend it to where the super trend line is. We are still technically in a downtrend for SUI, and we will remain in a downtrend as long as, you know, unless we break the 227. That should take us higher. Not overbought yet with SUI as well, so I do have the expectation that it can continue rising, whether it's now or later, toward the 230 mark. We're just going to round it up to 230, psychologically speaking, on SUI. But the downtrend, I mean, it's the only thing that's still there. So we have to wait and see how it behaves. If it does break this resistance, of course, or whether we will bounce below that. We should be overbought by then, so maybe we do bounce below that, seek support, and then start rising once again from there after gaining more confidence. Hopefully. That's what I'm expecting. So we'll have to wait and see. Chainlink also still on a downtrend. 1580 is the current price. It's not too bad. I missed those entries. That's fine. 1693. Basically 17 is where the resistance on Chainlink is, although I do expect this to continue dropping the super trend. Yeah, we're going to need new pivot levels for it. And wait till the low volatility passes throughout the weekend. It's just to determine where we could head off to with Chainlink. But overall downtrend is still there. I already talked about Aptos. Anything else notable? Not really. Everything else is still kind of in the red for me. I feel like I bought at good prices. It's just that things just continue dropping more, and I did end up running out of cash. I put a lot of it into Bitcoin. That's probably why. But, I mean, Bitcoin is the safest, of course. It's probably not going to give you the best return, but it's less risky. That's how markets work. Low risk, low return. What I do like about what I'm seeing in Bitcoin is the fact that there is a lot of buy pressure at or below the $100,000 level. You're going to notice the candlesticks on these. The wicks do come below 100,000. Like lowest point was 98,870, but we never really closed the candle below 100,000 if you pay attention closely. Every time we do go below it, we immediately like push back up within the same 4-hour period, and we don't allow, I guess, the candle to close, the session to close at below 100,000. What am I even talking here? Yeah, so you get the point, right? A lot of good buy pressure going on over here. Might buy. I don't know. I have been buying into like the ETFs because that is cheaper and it's more readily available to me. Like in Canadian dollars, I could just, transfer money from when I get paid from work and put them into the ETFs instead. And a tax-free savings account, of course, because ain't nobody paying taxes on capital gains, am I right? And I still have a lot of contribution room still. So I have been running out of money there too, but yeah, luckily I am, with the job is kind of saving me. So I'm content that I have it. I'm using those funds to just buy these dips over here because I do expect it to recover significantly. And that's more of a longer term kind of entry. I'm not really trading like I would do in these markets, right? In the futures markets, that is. In the futures markets, you got to get in and get out as fast as you can, right? Where it's appropriate, of course. You cannot hold a position in here for too long. You're going to get killed with the funding fees. You have an ample opportunity of getting liquidated. We already learned our lessons here, right? You hold it for too long, you might get an October 10 happening to you. And there's no salvation from that one. So yeah, that's my little warning to you guys. Okay. Wow, half an hour technical analysis. Let's get into the news. There's not anything too crazy, like I said, but still stuff to cover nonetheless. Interesting stuff that I will be getting into. Some discussions on the government shutdown. So let's get into that. What's going on? What are the Democrats feeling? They're asking for one thing today to reopen the government. If you're not aware, the U.S. Senate will be voting on a bill to reopen the government. Well, that happened today and it did not pass. So the Democrats want one thing, is to keep health insurance subsidies where they are at now for 1 year. That is it, nothing else. And apparently Republicans said no. So all the lies they tell every day about things Democrats are asking for is BS. Republicans own this shutdown, is what people are saying. Now, Speaker Johnson talked about this, saying, okay, let's clear things up. So the Democrats' $1.5 trillion counterproposal is pure insanity, and this is why the Republicans are not going to allow this to happen, right? And that is why we do have this problem with the shutdown. So just to reopen the government, what the Democrats want is to hand $200 billion in healthcare to illegal aliens, give $500 million to their left-wing media allies, gut the $50 billion rural hospital fund Republicans delivered for small-town America. And Republicans believe this is a non-starter. The Democrats need to drop these ridiculous demands and reopen the government. But they're going to want something. Like, what's in it for the Democrats to reopen the government, right? They are going to ask for something to happen in their favor. And I mean, if this shutdown is indeed hurting the economy the way it is, Republicans are probably going to have to, what's the word, like allow or permit, accept some of these terms that the Democrats are proposing, whether they like it or not, right? But as of right now, those numbers they're saying is absurd. Senator John Kennedy, not the president, but this is a different guy. Air traffic controllers aren't getting paid is what he says because of this government shutdown. Federal employees aren't getting paid. Practically the only people in our government who are getting paid during the shutdown are the members of Congress. They're still making their money. That is why Senator John Kennedy brought two bills to the Senate floor A proposal to stop paying Congress during shutdowns. That's a good way to do it. Hey, if these people aren't getting paid, we shouldn't be getting paid either while there's a shutdown going on, because we're just, making money while we're trying to decide this stuff. No, get to a decision quick, otherwise you will not get paid. I feel like that's a good way to incentivize or push for this shutdown to end as soon as possible. So there are proposals, things that they're trying out, right? Congress shouldn't get paid in a shutdown. We read that. He also talked later on Fox News, expecting that we are going to be in a shutdown for a while, because what Senator Chuck Schumer is suggesting that we do is the dumbest thing possible that will work. Stupid should hurt more. Senator Schumer says we should extend the status quo for a year. That means we would have to take $35 billion of taxpayer money and give it directly to the health insurance companies without any commitment to lowering premiums. So even he thinks, like Mike Johnson, that this is just absurd. How is that going to reduce healthcare costs? I think we're going to have to get used to the fact that we're going to be in a shutdown for a while. Or at least until the Democrats ask for something a little less. I don't know. One of the two is going to have to lose something here. So it's a big issue there. So like I said, they were doing that vote. Obviously it did not pass. Otherwise we would have heard that, yes, we are no longer in a shutdown. But no, that's not the case. The crypto market structure bill, also everything else crypto related, is stuck because of this shutdown. The ETFs getting approved. Some of them are getting approved, but like it's not at the pace that we were expecting. The SEC is technically not supposed to be working, but they still are, little by little. And of course, we do know, even Trump says, more executive orders are coming to protect Bitcoin and crypto innovation. So there is a bright future. It's just this darn shutdown that is holding everything back. We got new consumer confidence from University of Michigan. It plummets to the second lowest level in history amid the government shutdown. The index of consumer sentiment fell to 50.3 in early November, which is now lower than the 2008 financial crisis level. So it's that bad, the consumer confidence right now. So what to expect here? The declining consumer confidence, it can trigger market volatility as investors react to the potential for economic challenges ahead. We know retail is exhausted. I mean, obviously they're scared to invest money at these times because it's like the uncertainty. Markets hate uncertainty, and it results in a bunch of choppiness, and we don't know whether to go up or whether to go down, right? Any little pump that we do get up, it's probably going to get erased later on very quickly. Or any drops that we do have, people are like, maybe it's a good time to buy the dips, but, not everybody's dogpiling in at the same time. So yeah, it's not great news. But on the flip side, your favorite crypto tokens may be discounted, which I agree with. A lot of altcoins are, relatively speaking, really darn cheap. And yeah, don't get shaken out of Bitcoin. Diamond hands, use extreme caution when leverage trading. I feel like now's a good time for leverage trading with this kind of volatility that's going on. If you're doing it in like really smaller time frames, and of course with proper risk management, like a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, using a stop loss and a take profit. I am actually, starting to think about this a bit more. And I'm like, should I just go back to like low time frame trading like I used to do? Because at the end of the day, it is a coin toss, and look at where the markets are right now. It's like nobody's really wanting to do it. Any little bit of money that does come back into the markets, it does move markets like crazy because of the fact that they're so oversold at this point. That's kind of the way I'm seeing things. Powell out here speaking facts, by the way. He says job creation is close to zero due to AI. Yeah, I agree. The stuff I studied for, fintech, cybersecurity, web development, AI can now do most people's jobs, right? And it's hard. So now I'm just doing this other random job that anybody can enter, and it's like, okay, whatever. Not here to complain. Trump Media, you know the stock, the DJT stock. They just posted their earnings. $54 million loss in the third quarter. Oh, that's not good. It's probably because, I don't want to say the Crypto.com deal flopped, but it just became unpopular after it did its huge rise, of course. You go to DJT. Okay, yeah, we are on our way down over here. Have we seen these levels before? We did in September 2024. I think this is a pretty good place to be entering, maybe? This is when, of course, Trump won the election in October, November. Leading up to all that, we were back on the rise with DJT. I remember these prices during this time. I'm like, yeah, it's over for this stock. We're basically where we were from the beginning over here. Very volatile. Very volatile, man. Trump is obviously going to be... He's going to go down to be known for his volatility, of course. There's no denying that. We're technically in this eternal downtrend. That's still the thing. Overall, it seems like this thing just keeps on going lower and lower. But I think like multiple times we've hit these levels, we just skyrocket back up. I'm not saying that you're going to guarantee these kinds of returns, because none of that is guaranteed. You're probably going to just lose more money. So, not financial advice. I don't even have a real way of buying into this, do I? I could. I do have USD on another margin account, non-registered account, but that's so much work. I probably will though. Maybe something. Just to entertain Trump a little. But yeah. As the election bump was erased, third straight loss as SPAC legal fees mount and Kronos holdings rise. There's the Crypto.com partnership I was talking about. What do they talk about Kronos here? I want to see. Deepening the Crypto.com ties. Is my phone charging? Yeah. In Q3, Trump Media purchased over 684 million Kronos Crypto.com tokens, funded by $50 million of cash and 47 million of common stock, as part of an ongoing relationship with Crypto.com, earlier announcing that the exchange would power its upcoming Truth Predict betting market. Oh, they're also getting involved in that too, by the way. The prediction markets. It's just so popular, and I think everybody wants a piece of that. Polymarket's taking off. Kalshi, of course, very popular, and everybody is now trying to copy that. So prediction markets seem to be whatever the future. And we do know a Polymarket token might be released soon. Additionally, Trump Media is integrating Kronos rewards into its Truth social media platform and building the first and largest publicly traded Kronos treasury company, the Trump Media Group CRO Strategy Inc., formed through a definitive agreement with Crypto.com and Yorkville Acquisition Corp. That's good. I like this partnership overall. I do have like Crypto.com account as well, and it just gives me more confidence to, you know, be in there. That being said, I did sell off all of my tokens at the top, by the way. I know, genius move. Crypto.com was rising like crazy. I'm like, dude, I've been so low for years. I've used their card. I've been accumulating all these Kronos tokens for years, since like 2021. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just out. I'm taking my profits here. And I did the right thing. What did I do with that cash? I think I just threw it into the tax-free savings account. Oh no, I bought my mom a phone. That's what I did with it. Yep, I know, right? So cool. Anyway. Trump Media is far from President Donald Trump's only crypto-related effort. Of course, we know World Liberty Financial, and associated with his sons and everything, and the stablecoin project USD1, as well as the American Bitcoin mining company and other projects. Come on. President is so bullish on crypto, guys. Financial Times estimates they've earned over $1 billion through its various crypto ventures. Yeah, no kidding. La la la. Okay. So that, yeah. Even still, I would have confidence in investing in here. Just me personally. But yeah. They received $973,000 in revenue over the quarter. The CEO received $46 million in compensation last year, and we are 62% down this year. That's not a good look, but maybe a good... I don't know. The fundamentals are odd when it comes to DJT stock. But the partnerships and the future of crypto, I think it's going to be beneficial to it. And anything, literally anything that Trump does, we get these big spikes. What happened here? 20th of October? I don't remember. What happened on October 10? Oh, well, the stock market was closed. It was no impact. We kind of dropped a little more. 28th of October. What happened? What was the rise over here? April. Oh, well, this is obviously, we know what happened April 7, right? And then huge recovery after that. Everything recovered. What is this big spike? May 27. I don't remember what happened here. Yeah. So, you know, it's got its good volatility, so I think it would be pretty funny to do it. Speaking of Trump, I guess, he spoke about Vivek Ramaswamy and endorsing him for governor of Ohio. There's a lot of glaze for Vivek Ramaswamy. He will be a great governor of Ohio. He has my complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down. Will he ever give us up? Speaking of Vivek Ramaswamy, here we go. Insider trading info. There's a company called ASST, Strive Inc. He purchased 15,625 shares in that company. The current value of it is $1.51 per share. The company itself is worth $1,250,000, which is really, really small company. It's basically a penny stock. What does he know? And he owns 10% of the stake in there. I do want to look this up. ASST. What does this company even do? I've never heard of it. I'm pretty sure nobody has. And that's why it's raising a couple of eyebrows. Strive Inc. Miscellaneous investment trust, mutual funds. It had a nice spike over here to $19 after being, $4. We're at a very low level. What does this guy know? Obviously, you're going to see these kinds of peaks and rises because of the fact that it's got such a low market cap, right? $1 million? Come on. What do you do? The engages, okay. I didn't expect this to be crypto related. Engages in the provision of an asset management Bitcoin treasury. It offers its services to Discord, TikTok, and other social media platforms. The company founded by Arshia Sarkani, Jackson Fairbanks, Armand Sarkani, and Kyle Fairbanks. Are these people like, okay, the Fairbanks, are they related, and are the Sarkanis related? Funded in 2020, headquartered in Dallas, Texas. No capital gains tax there, I think, or income tax, something. They don't pay tax on something. They don't do dividends. Of course, they're a very small company. Why would they do dividends? We don't expect them to. Interesting. I want to do something. I'm going to draw a vertical line. If in the future this ever does become relevant, I'm going to write Vivek I'm typing with one hand. Wami. Oh, great. I had caps lock. How? I pressed A. I pressed whatever. Ramaswamy. Ramaswamu. All right, there we go. Did it not save? Okay, thank you. I was like, I don't want to type that whole name again. All right, there we go. So I'm going to note that this is where this man purchased. We'll see if we suddenly see any suspicious, anything like that happen anytime soon. I'll probably look into buying that too. Maybe. It's an interesting purchase. 15,000 shares. If each one costs 150, what is 15,625 times 1.51? How much money are you dropping? $23,600? That's not a lot of money, but it's something. And he owns 10% of it anyway, so what's 10% of 1.2? Well, obviously $125,000 is what he has in there, and he bought another 25,000. All right. Well, maybe he knows something. We'll see. More insider trades. Trade with Pelosi. Is it? Okay, no, this is a different account, but I'll still follow it for good insider trades. Well, now that Pelosi is retiring, we need a new queen of insider trading, and I've been nominating Marjorie Taylor Greene for a while. It's either this lady or the other lady from Florida, whatever her name was. the one with curly hair, who bought, what did she buy again? She bought, I think it was Echor Holdings or something, whatever. We're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene here. She bought $50,000 worth of Procter & Gamble on November 6th. Okay, my initial thoughts, Procter & Gamble is a safe company. If you don't know what the company does, it's basically look at your toothbrush, look at your soap. That's what they make. Your shampoo. Okay, she bought on November 6th. That was yesterday. Interesting. Okay, interesting is the 1 day delay. That is what I first noticed. Another thing is that, okay, it's a safe company to be investing in because it's a company that will never go bankrupt. Everybody uses personal hygiene products, right? And they pay out good dividends from what I'm aware of. Seems like a decent company to be investing in. You shouldn't expect it to grow, right? You're not going to expect it to duplicate its price. That's unrealistic for it. So it's a safe thing to be entering because it's not going to go down. It's not affected by general macroeconomic factors. Like, regardless of whatever happens in the world, everybody's going to be using personal hygiene. So that's my first thoughts about it. Hey, Dogwoof Hoodie. Rotated into recession-friendly stocks. They're selling tech stocks by the dozen. That is a really good observation as well. Yeah, I basically agree with that. Looks like as well they are nearing a 2-year low is what this says. And she has a knack for buying the dip at the perfect time. Did she nail the bottom again? We will be watching. Okay. Yeah, we will be watching. Oh. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene onto something? After all, she also did buy Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly just before the tariff deal went through. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah. Okay, Procter & Gamble, nothing too groundbreaking, sure. I have another post here talking about similar thing. I love how they changed it to, I think this name was Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker, but now they changed it to Government Stock Tracker because, like I said, Nancy Pelosi gone. Anyways, so yeah, as we reported, MTG, she bought Procter & Gamble to her growing list of healthcare and consumer-related investments, and the timing is telling. According to her latest disclosure, she bought it on November 6th for, we had the price before, $50,000, I think. Why it matters, it comes days after she bought Novo Nordisk and CAH, oh boy, Cardinal Health, which are both healthcare-linked stocks. Interesting. Why is she not buying United Health? I feel like that would be a better buy. Maybe. Interestingly, Procter & Gamble has been trending down over the past year, underperforming broader markets, and her purchase could signal a bet on a rebound in consumer staples or a shift towards stability as markets remain volatile. Did the markets react to this already? I feel like they might have. Yeah, this was at 9 a.m. They had plenty of time to react to this. Procter & Gamble, I just want to look at this stock. We kind of had a little bounce over here, but nothing too crazy. Like, we don't see a rise like this after she announces her buy. So it seems like I don't think a lot of people are convinced by this buy. As a member of the Homeland Security and Oversight Committees, Greene's recent trades show a clear pattern of focusing on resilience from medical supply distributors to consumer staples, and her portfolio is increasingly tilted towards sectors tied to national infrastructure and public health readiness. Okay, it's not too bad. More on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Moving on from the insider trade stuff, that was the big two, Vivek Ramaswamy and Marjorie Taylor Greene. She had an interview with CNN, Caitlin Collins. They say here, when the president says that there's virtually no inflation and that grocery prices are going down, do you agree with him on that? Marjorie Taylor Greene says, no. I go to the grocery store myself. Grocery prices remain high. She's Republican, by the way. Energy prices are high. My electricity bills are higher here in Washington, D.C. at my apartment, and they're also higher at my house in Rome, Georgia, higher than they were a year ago. So she's basically saying what Trump is saying is not true. That's not a good look. Republican attacking Republican. What is she thinking? Maybe she will be transferring over to the Democratic Party. She went on The View, like I said. This is something I talked about already when I first started reporting on the Canadian members of Parliament switching teams. But yeah, here she is, like, on The View, the show, flirting with the idea of becoming a Democrat. The woman on The View even planted the seed for her. Maybe you should become a Democrat, Marjorie. Maybe she does switch teams. There is also this feud going on where, I don't know, something Trump apparently didn't endorse her or doesn't want her running for something specific, I think. Yeah, so maybe she's going to probably leave, but I don't know. Or maybe she's just going to do her own thing. I don't think she will, honestly. She's a lifelong Republican, from what I'm aware of. Jump scare alert. Canadian members of parliament are doing the thing. They keep on changing teams, and I don't understand why. Conservative member of parliament. This man is Likma John Singh. Okay, this has got to be fake, right? Okay, it is fake. I was about to say, there's no way this is real. I thought it was actually real because they said Brampton, Surrey, and I'm like, okay, if you know Brampton, you know it's full of Indian people, right? Inform the party whip that he'll be crossing the floor to join the Liberal Party. Okay, never mind. That's fake news. Forget that. They got me. Okay, here's a real one, though. Another Conservative member of Parliament crosses the floor. This man, Harvey Specter, for the Pearson-Hardman riding in Ontario, joins the Liberal ranks. Bloodbath for the Conservatives today. Does this give Carney a majority? Not yet, I don't think. We also have another one, Conservative member of Parliament from Cape Range Peninsulas, Codtown. His name is Seamus O'Harbour. Boy, oh boy. He also crosses the floor to the Liberal Party, which increases the number of seats for Mark Carney to 171. Reminder that they need 172 seats in the Parliament to have a majority. And this is all coming abroad the vote to pass the budget the budget bill that I talked about from before. Oh, it's fake. Spectre is from a show Suits. Which Spectre? Hold on. I forgot what I read. Oh, this guy. Wow, a lot of fake news today, isn't it? I'm just falling for it. I'm just assuming that these people do exist. Okay, all right. Good catch. Thank you. Does this guy exist? I'm sure this guy does, because I trust Mr. Sunshine Baby. I'm just gonna look this up just in case. I don't think this is a real guy. No, I don't think this is a real guy. Why is this a different person? Okay. These might all be fake. Are we sure? Okay, no, it's not true. Oh my gosh. I gotta check my replies, dude. You can't believe everything on Twitter. Can we bring back community notes, please? Oh my gosh. Wow. Mr. Sunshine Baby, you've ruined it. Is this one fake too, or what? No, this one's real. I hope. Teresa Crombie seems like a real name. No. No, this is not real either. Right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I've just been falling for fake news, dude. Alright, well, I thought there was a lot of people changing teams. No, apparently it's all fake. Whatever. Liberal Party from Mississauga, Long Island. Okay, I should have known Mississauga, Long Island. That's obviously not a real place. Long Island is New York. Mississauga is a garbage can. Okay, so none of these are real. Alright, moving on. I know. Yes, dog with hoodie. You can laugh all you like. I'll take the shame. Listen, man, it's a long day at work. I scroll Twitter for like I have a 10-minute break and then a 20-minute break in an 8-hour shift. That's all I have. And I have to eat too, so I'm just like doom scrolling Twitter as fast as I can. I'm like, oh boy, they're changing teams now, all of these people. All right. We could get a Discord going. I am down for that. I do already have a server, but it's like there's nothing going on in there. Might rebrand it, might just make a new server altogether because there's some weird people in the old server, just saying. But yeah, no, for sure. I'd be down to make a Discord server. Alright, moving on. Let's get into some crypto-related news and not fake news. This is real news. Crypto market adds $156 billion in the last 7 hours. Altcoins alone accounted for $81 billion, which is what we saw and covered already. That's good stuff. Kazakhstan setting $1 billion Bitcoin and crypto reserve. That's good, of course. Kazakhstan's central bank will be converting portions of its gold and foreign currency reserves into Bitcoin and other crypto assets. The global race among nations to accumulate BTC is only the beginning. Yep, I agree with that. Tether, apparently they also bought the dips. $1 billion is what they added, which is 9,849 BTC to its reserves amid the market pullback. Good idea of doing that. Also, speaking on like Kazakhstan, they should, that is a good idea as well, selling off the gold to buy into the Bitcoin. I do feel like Bitcoin has greater potential already, right? And it's also something I called on the US government to do a couple of times when gold was all-time highs in during April 7 event, right? Bitcoin was down to 74,000. Gold was at that time at an all-time high of 3,000 something, or maybe 4,000. No, right now we're at, what is the price of gold again? I already forgot, honestly. That's just how out of touch I am. Oh, we're at 4,000 right now. So April 7, it was over here, or close to April 7, right? April 7 itself, it was down. But it made this peak all the way back up, April 22nd. That would have been a good time to sell off gold if they do have the reserve still in Fort Knox, which we never verified yet, by the way. Sold off there, bought into Bitcoin would have been a huge return because gold kind of stayed flat while Bitcoin rose to all-time highs during those times. Which at this time, sure, gold was at an all-time high. Gold has had a recent surge that we obviously saw, and we were kind of consolidating around the fourth. Look, we're exactly $4,000 on gold. That is crazy. I still think now is a good time to just sell off the gold and get into Bitcoin at 100,000. Right? We'll see. Bitcoin is leaving exchanges, which is not what a cycle top looks like. If Bitcoin leaves the exchanges, it means that whales are accumulating and they don't plan to sell it for a very long time because they're likely transferring it to cold storage, their own wallets, self-custody, to hold on to it for a very long time. Bitcoin withdrawals on Binance just jumped roughly 4x during the recent price dip alone. That is interesting. When the price moves down and the coins leave exchanges, it basically means people are moving their Bitcoin to self-custody and choosing to hold instead of selling. If they add it to the exchanges, obviously it's a likely signal that they could sell it because that's what the exchange allows you to do. So yeah. Moving BTC to self-custody, choosing, yeah, and taking advantage of those prices to stack as well. It's not the behavior you see at market tops. At the tops, the coins go back into the exchanges to be sold. So right now, the opposite is happening. Coins are being pulled off the exchanges. Sentiment on crypto Twitter is bearish, but the on-chain data doesn't show panic. It shows people positioning for the longer term. Simple as that. I agree. Bull market didn't end. It restarted, according to Tom Lee. Questionable reputation on Tom Lee, but he did speak some facts over here. He laid out clearly that the Bitcoin dip wasn't about fundamentals. It's about the liquidity shutdown, the funding stress, and the October 10th deleveraging, which I agree. It's not a structural break overall. And I've confirmed this with my own analysis that we are technically still in this bull run as long as we remain above 96,000. I even told you guys that many times before, while we were way far above in the 110s, 120,000s, even if we do see a retracement down to 96,000, I still don't think the bull run is over, and that is a likely area that we will bounce back up and continue forward, because I do expect us to top during this month. But I'm going to yield I'm going to allow my little projection to extend maybe even until December because of what's happening right now with the shutdown. The shutdown is just this unprecedented thing. It's been the longest in history already. And it's just something that we're going to have to deal with until these darn congressmen figure something out, right? So it might just take a while longer. But I still think we're going to hit like maybe 150,000 for Bitcoin before year end at least. A lot of people do think that. Highest man IQ in the world thinks that. Michael Saylor thinks that. And it's reasonable. It's reasonable to think that. That kind of money, like this movement on gold, it's already like 2-3 times Bitcoin's market cap. in itself, right? So the money exists. It's just, choosing to be flowing in other places, such as gold. And the fact that Bitcoin is being neglected to these low prices, I feel like it's a steal to get it at these prices. That being said, I'm being hypocritical and not buying, but that's because I don't have money. If I did have a lot more money, oh boy. I've put myself in debt to buy more Bitcoin. Like, that's how bad it is. But I have a stable job now, and whatever. Debt is debt. I will eventually get that paid off. And of course, I do have a vision in my analysis to the point where I expect to make a return to obviously pay off the debt and keep the gains. And pay it all to the government and taxes, because we love giving money to, I don't know, we're probably going to send it to Africa or Ukraine or whatever. Anyways, yeah, the roads don't need fixing. He says it's not a structural break, going back to Tom Lee. He says the confidence takes a couple more weeks to rebuild, but there's no systemic damage and there's no FTX-style contagion this time. Like I said, fundamentals are still strong. It's just a shakeout in a bull market. It's not the end of one. And we've seen in previous bull markets, Bitcoin had huge retracements back in the day. 30%, 40% retracements. And we would still rise and continue higher. So, yep, I think that it's not the end. We still got a lot in store for us. There you go. That's my vision of it all. All right. That being said, we have not moved a penny on Bitcoin's price, 102,489. I think I said that exact amount. Did I? At the beginning? 490, I think I said at the beginning of the stream. Whatever. Go rewind and watch. Give me watch time hours. We're really close to 500, guys. Thanks for the support, of course, as always. Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, we've reached an hour with the stream here, so I'm going to be ending it off here. If I do make a Discord, I will announce it. I'm probably going to have to, I don't know. What would I even do? I could take some ideas. I might have to research a little bit. It's not a big deal, though. I can make it happen. Yeah, so that's all for tonight, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow, and we'll discuss, hopefully there's something important to talk about. Maybe I'll do more research on this whole filibuster mumbo-jumbo or the snap benefits that I'm not really understanding. From what I'm aware, it's just funding for food banks, for something to do with healthcare. I don't even know. But yeah, very, very uninformed on the subject. So I'll probably be researching that a bit more. I think we are sick and tired of hearing this whole shutdown situation. But it is what it is. We are dealing with it, and it's looming over our heads. There's talks about ending it. There's talks about it taking forever to get a resolution on. So yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Yep. Have a good rest of your